looking at the West, what they're trying to broker, like Trump, the deal he's trying to broker between Hamas and Israel, or the West, UK, France now calling on two-state solutions. What does that mean? What does it actually really mean for the Palestinians?
So I think their words mean nothing anymore.
Yeah.
So they talk about ceasefire. I think they said the ceasefire was imminent about a month ago, and they've said that many times before. They do want to get rid of the resistance, and I think we have to follow the events that occurred over the last few days. Many Western leaders came out saying that we want to recognize a Palestinian state, but there's something very toxic and very poisonous behind that statement. What they're really saying is we want to recognize this occupation, this Jewish entity in this land of Palestine. That's what they're saying, because if you recognize this Palestinian state, you're saying, I recognize the Israeli state. And the Israeli state is as a colonial settler occupation that is there to ensure that they control the majority of Palestine, and they give the scraps of some of the West Bank and some of Gaza. Now, how much even of Gaza are they going to give? I mean, we're talking many years ago, it was about 20% the West Bank and Gaza, and they were going to give that as a Palestinian state. You've got settlements, you've got so many checkpoints within the West Bank. What kind of state is that? Yeah. They don't control their own seaports, they don't control their own air, they don't have any air power, nothing. So they're completely under the occupation of Israel. So they're going to say, look, we're going to give you this state, but that means you have to recognize this Israeli state, this occupation. So their intentions are really what they want to do now is find a solution, or this is what some of these Western countries are doing, to actually ensure that this occupation continues. By saying, look, we're going to give you this tiny state, and you have to be pleased with it, and the rest of this land will be occupied, and the problem of Al-Aqsa will never be solved, i.e. it will still be under their occupation. So as Muslims, I think we need to be aware of that, and we need to stand against it. Yeah. This is just another form of Zionism. They call it like liberal Zionism, where they want to still control everything they have, but they're saying people like Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and Smotrich, they're extremists. But ultimately, they still believe in the same objective, which is the occupation of this land. And the other thing that the Arab regimes recently did is they made an announcement, as well as some of the Muslim countries, for the resistance to disarm. And they're saying that you should hand over your weapons and actually allow for the Palestinian Authority to take over Gaza. The Palestinian Authority have been killing Muslims in the West Bank. So they have been used by the Israeli occupation to put down any opposition to the Israeli occupation. So what they're really doing is trying to come up with a final solution where this land becomes fully occupied, and they give little scraps to this man called Mahmoud Abbas from the Palestinian Authority, and this becomes a new Palestinian state.